and vice versa. But I think we're going to skip ahead and jump into our first game because it's already well and truly underway. And we have some beautiful stuff going on the screen here. So this is going to be the roster that LNG are bringing to the table here for game number 1. It looks like we're going to miss the draft on this one. So we have Karma for this Shy. We have Rookie and Zoe. Across the board, fairly standard, except we have Light playing Tristana as well.
All right, so there's going to be a lot to break down here. So at least when we look at like solo lanes, certainly in favor
Luckily,
of IG.
we have the Daggertron here.
Yeah.
Analysis,
top lane. Analysis, just go. So top lane, both solo laners, good for IG. They're going to be winning out there. Bot lane is going to be in favor of LNG. Very heavy kill lane coming through, and it's going to be a lot on Bowland to try and use this Galio to push back that lane advantage and make sure that Iwandi can't get the engage that he wants. The problem that I saw for Bioland specifically on Galio is that he ended up missing and leaving a lot to be desired when it came towards his Galio in game number 1 of IG's last series. So I'll be curious to see how this works. My eyes again though drifting towards this mid-jungle 2v2. Shun in an advantageous matchup here with Rookie as well in a great lane setup as well. So this mid 2v2 that could play very heavily into the skirmishes is on IG's side. So I think top half of the map, certainly IG can look to facilitate Shun and try and set Tarzan behind.
That's going to be one of the big tasks, is to try and get ahead of Tarzan, try and make sure that Shun and Rookie are both pulling ahead. And that mid-jungle 2v2 was one of the points that I want to set up moving into this game. The fact that you've got Rookie and Shun, who in the first series we saw from them, honestly, it was like father and son. It was like Rookie and Shun just stick together, arm in arm, roaming around the map, killing everybody. And every time Rookie was in trouble, Shun would show up. Every time Shun was in trouble, Rookie would show up. They're the best of friends. And so it's going to be a difficult one for Tarzan and Icon. I will say, though, Pantheon in a 2v2 is a pretty fantastic champion. So hopefully Tarzan will find opportunities to use the CC and the proactivity that you get with a Pantheon pick, because if it comes down to a farm matchup, Graves is definitely going to run away with it.
And it's that CC and utility that Tarzan is going to need to bring to these later game fights. Because when you look at the range advantage that IG have with this composition, it's absolutely nuts. Like the ability for Jhin, Zoe, and Karma to start to poke you out around these objectives, and as well for Karma to get these massive speed ups to keep IG safe. You need to rely on Tarzan here on LNG to provide that engage tool and allow the rest of LNG's dive composition to jump onto IG and shut them down. So certainly on LNG's side, Tarzan is going to have his work cut out in setting up these later game team fights for LNG's success.
One of the other interesting factors in this game
Mikuya.
is Mikuya. He's the guy I was about to start talking about. He's in a lane against the Shy. We all know about the Shy. And, you know, as much as people like to have a bit of fun at the Shy's expense because some of his games are a little, you know, suboptimal, he also, when he gets ahead, will absolutely dominate a lane. And Mikuya coming in from the LDL here, who's on SDX last year, which is one of the better LDL teams. It's a team that we got to see at the Demacia Cup. Obviously didn't win their group, but still had a reasonable performance. Mikuya certainly has his work cut out to be able to match up against the Shy. This is pretty much the toughest opponent you could go against in your debut series in the LPL.
I mean, the only person I'd put up there is probably Nuguri. From like just sheer lane dominance, like you're not going to have a good time against the Shy in a lot of situations, and especially when you look at the pressure that Shun and Rookie can operate. The biggest thing from IG side that we saw in their previous series was the ability, especially in game number 2, of Shun and Rookie to go towards that top side and just destroy the opposing top laner. In this matchup, once again, where they've got push and they've got Shun who can dictate the pace of this top side of the map, I expect them to try and rinse and repeat here, especially as we talked about, that long range can make it very difficult for this Gnar to deal with.
Rookie taking a bit of damage here, doesn't quite manage to land the trouble bubble as Icon. Let's try and clear away this mid lane. Tarzan's coming in. Iwandi's here as well, but the cleanse from Rookie just in time. That was narrow. I wonder if he lands that Zenith Blade, it's a totally different play.
Look at this though. IG realize, hey, hang on a second, you've committed all these members towards mid. We'll just turn with the pressure that we have in mid towards this dragon. So nice start here for IG in turning around what was the aggressive play from mid. But I like this from LNG. They realize, look, if we let this game go long, we'll end up with Rookie getting towards the 1 to 2 items that he wants. Same when you look at this Jhin. And we'll never be able to get ourselves back into this game. We're just going to be set so far behind with that range discrepancy. So let's use this aggressiveness of the Pantheon. Let's use the pushing power we have with Light in the bot side and get this 3-man working towards this mid lane.
So over towards the bot side now, you can see Light playing the Tristana. I'm very curious about. I've seen Tristana's played in solo queue. I played a bit of Tristana, but it's not something that I was expecting to see in the competitive pool anytime soon. So I am excited to see what Light can do with this pick. Certainly great with the supports like the owners and things. Fantastic in the all-in. As Tarzan is going to be able to steal away the Scuttle Crab. Just strolls onto the play. Rookie now going to be stunned up. Shockwave is there as well. Rookie forced to flash out of the play. Wink now alone should go down. This will be first blood in favor of LNG, and now they're going to be able to find more. Getting the resets on the Tristana, jumping forwards for many, many kills. Rookie's going to go down too, and suddenly Light is massive.
Oh God, that was a disaster from IG. Trying to fight over the scuttle was not the call there. I think what the thought process from IG was, hey, we've got the TP from the Shy, but Mikuya did a really good job of going aggressive on towards the Karma, burning all that extra mana, so it ended up being a 4v4 where you just have more CC and more damage coming out from the jungle, the support, and that AD carry. And you'll see it here. Like, straight away Mikuya has already pressured the Shy underneath the tower, so he's not able to join. Wink ends up in a 1v1 against Tristana, who Tristana's always going to win that against Jhin. And from that point forward, with Wink going down, Reset City comes in for Light, and he's just able to clean up all these kills. But in just all these isolated skirmishes, LNG are able to come out on top.
Yeah, if anyone was unsure what the strength of Tristana is in a game, that's it. There you go. You can reset during these fights and just chase people down endlessly. It's worth mentioning as well that for anyone that doesn't know Tristana, I feel like Tristana has been out of the competitive pool for so long. I almost feel like we need to explain how the champ works. Your passive is called Draw a Bead. You get extended range per level. So the longer this game goes on, the longer range Tristana will have. And it means that in the late stages of the game, as a crit AD carry, you have one of the longest ranges as well. So she becomes a very difficult to deal with late game hyper carry.
And the big thing here is that she works incredibly well with dive setups. Because she's got that reset, she can chase down people that initially thought they'd escaped away from the dives, which is why you're seeing her picked up with this composition where you're going to have Mikuya, Tarzan, Iwandi jumping in on top of IG and trying to set up these fights. So very much a strong pick. Obviously, we have no idea what the draft looked like. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to say, hey, yeah, you know, we saw a lot of like Kai'Sas and Misfortunes and stuff banned. Yeah. Certainly, I like this pick into this matchup because I think it sets up very, very well with what the LNG are trying to do.
Yeah, I am really curious what the draft looked like. In fact, I'll probably go back and look at that later on today after the broadcast. But certainly, the Tristana pick seems to be working as we've started things off strong for LNG. Xun moving in on the top side. Mikuya alone underneath the tower and exhausted as well. He's not going to have Mega Knot available. He's kiting away, but there's just no way out of this one. He will go down here. Wink to get the kill with the 4th shot. And now an opportunity to get on towards this tower. In the meantime, we do have Light pushing in the top side of the map. We've got a Herald in the pocket of Tarzan. So this could be first tower going the way of LNG.
And Light's going to be huge. Like, think about it. You just saw all that gold get funneled into him. He has the cull there. He's going to pick up all these turret plates for himself as well. Like, this is going to be a massive Tristana. I mean, at this stage, I wouldn't be surprised if he just is able to back and probably full complete that Gale Force. And from that point, or maybe even the Kraken Slayer, depending on what he wants to go for. Personally, I think it'll be the Gale Force. When you're going for the dive, the execute damage just makes so much more sense and guarantees you the resets. But overall, like, this is Light's game now. He can have an absolute field day as long as LNG are able to close the gap on top of you.
And if there wasn't enough going on for him yet, he also has a cull. He's gone for the Kraken Slayer as well, so he's going to be that late game hyper carry. He's going to be absolutely annihilating health bars. And you know, we talked about earlier, Mikuya, this is going to be difficult going up against the Shy. I mean, not if you just never lane against the Shy. Just send Mikuya to the bot side and let Tristana deal with the Karma. Karma can't do much against that AD carry in our lane.
And the big thing as well is that turret taking potential from the Tristana. When you're looking at the wave clear on IG, yeah, it's great from the solo laners, but if you can separate the map.
Wink's in trouble. Solar Flare does go down. Tarzan thinking about diving this one. I1D just goes slightly wide on the Zenith, but I feel like he would have died if the Zenith blade hit, honestly. Now the curtain call on towards I1D. Probably could have blocked the fourth shot there. Let Mikuya finish his recall, to be quite honest, but doesn't matter. Regardless, they're going to be able to get some plates.
Mikuya, get out of here. Light needs all the farm. Light needs to get all these goddamn plates. He's already got several. He's now looking at more. Mikuya, you're just taking gold away from what is the key carry here. Like, this is absolutely insane with how accelerated Light's going to be. Now, IG are trying to answer on the top side, but not going to be able to do so as heavily. And LNG would get tower, they'll get the dragon. So a fantastic start. And with just those 3 kills difference, so there's a 3,500 gold lead over in favor of LNG.
Yeah, because when you consider the plates and everything else on top of the kills, it's tremendous how much gold LNG have managed to get for themselves. But most importantly, as you're rightly saying, all of that gold is on Light right now. He is monstrously huge. And it's to the point where IG realistically cannot fight for the next few minutes unless they get a pick on Light, unless Light is removed from the equation. But even, like, when you look at the composition from IG, how do you ever get a pick on Light? How do you ever start that up unless Rookie lands a Miracle Bubble?
So what you want to try and do here as IG is play like this, just play at range, where when we look towards these next few dragons and stuff, it's okay, we'll get this bubble over the wall from Rookie, we'll get that set up, we'll just poke from range with the Shy. If anyone on LNG tries to engage, we use the Shy's big AoE shield to disengage, get the hell out of there as quickly as possible, and kind of using Bowlan as this bouncer as well to make sure that you're not actually threatening the back line as LNG. However, with how far ahead Light has been put, the damage Light's going to be able to churn out onto all these squishy champions is going to be unbelievable. He's already got the Zeal there for himself. He's going to be rapidly getting towards that 60% crit. And from that point on, nobody's health bar is safe.
I mean, I would argue that they're already not safe without him critting. Never mind once he starts critting as well. It only gets worse from here. He is terrifying. 3 minutes, though, until the Drake. It is going to be an Ocean Soul this game. And bear in mind, IG took the first Drake of the game. So the Soul as a win condition is still a good 15 minutes away at very least. We're not expecting that until about the 30-minute mark into the game. So, and that's assuming just one team gets the next 3 Drakes. There's a bit of leeway still available for the side of IG. And let's just remember who we're talking about here. When we saw IG earlier on in the split, the first game they played was against JDG, a team that everybody was, you know, surprisingly, a lot of predictions actually went towards IG, but I think that's just the IG factor, right? Nobody ever quite wants to count out IG. Nobody ever quite wants to count out Rookie and the Shy. But even Shun looked amazing in that first series. So this is certainly, even though there's a pretty large lead in favor of LNG, I'm certainly not going to count them out of the picture just yet.
And at least when you start to look at like the damage that the Shy can put forward in that, it's could end up being great if again they can play this composition to its strengths. It's just when you get into the thick of things and IG start to do IG things, which is just kind of going bloody mental. That's where I think LNG might be able to start to make these picks happen, because you've got a huge amount of picks coming through from the likes of, or pick potential, sorry, with Tarzan, with I1D. So as IG, you need to play this game very, very cleanly. If you can, compositionally, you can do a lot of work. Otherwise, LNG are going to have the run of the mill. So I think this is actually a very big test for IG to see how this, well, newly formed roster is going to do. Because if at any point in time, like the Shy decides to do his regular thing of, hey, I'm just going to poke my nose in where it doesn't belong, that can snowball very quickly into advantages for LNG.
It really can. And speaking of snowballing advantages, LNG are going to be able to grab themselves a Herald here, which realistically, we've been talking about for the last couple of minutes. There is no way that IG can currently contest. So LNG very comfortably just going to steal this one away. You can see Shun is building himself a little bit of a CS lead in the jungle, which is incredibly important because that is the advantage in this jungle matchup that Graves has. He can comfortably outfarm. Look at the damage onto Wink. That was... So one of the tricks with Tristana is if a minion dies while your bomb is on it, it will explode with... well, if you kill a minion that your bomb is on, the bomb will explode as if you auto-attacked it 4 times to stack it up. So if the enemy AD carry walks up to a caster minion, and you finish that caster minion, and you put your bomb on it at the same time, it blows up for maximum damage and takes literally half of the enemy AD carry's health bar.
Yeah, so... pretty nice when you're able to trade that effectively. And that's not even bringing into account the 2-level advantage that is over in favor of Light right now. The excess range is coming in, the Phantom Dancer that's complete on him as well. And obviously Phantom Dancer has been changed, folks. You get a Spectral Waltz from this now. You don't get the same Lifeline passive. Instead, you get a whole heap of attack speed when you're able to auto-attack a couple of times. So this is where Light, again, is just feeding so well into the identity of Tristana, this hyper late game carry with relying on all these auto-attacks. And I mean, Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge will be sure to follow next. And Light's huge. We're not even 16 minutes into, or 17 minutes into the game, and he's already got 2 items completed. Versus the Gale Force, and not even the finished boots of Wink. He's still got the brown paper bags on his feet.
It's actually ridiculous, the lead the Light has. He's also going to get a local goal from this tower, just as an extra bonus here. Dragon going to be taken by LNG. Realistically, with how far ahead they are at this point, like, we're 17 minutes into the game. They have a 4,500 gold lead. This is incredibly difficult for IG to breathe properly in this game.
And it becomes very difficult for IG as well because of this. The way that their composition wants to work is threatening and around these objectives. They don't actually have someone who's very tanky to go and buy back vision. Like, you don't have an Orin who can aggressively walk in towards River and be that front line. You're heavily reliant on at least going even if not ahead coming into these objective fights so you can reset, get control over the River and make sure that you're able to poke people out. If you're late to the party, this whole game plan starts to fall apart from IG. So I'm actually quite concerned about how IG are going to make this work. But from LNG's perspective, we had a lot of questions about this team and how it's going to work. This is just beautiful macro play. Like, this entire lead is all down to the macro that they have played. Getting a bunch of resources invested in towards this Tristana through pressure down to the bottom lane, getting those plates, rotating the Tristana topside, using Rift Tower to get her ahead. Like, this has just been absolutely splendid macro play from LNG.
Yeah, LNG playing this very cleanly, which is something that we needed to see realistically here. Because let's just remember what we talked about before with this LNG roster, right? This is a fresh roster. The only remaining players from last year's LNG are Light and I1D. So with Icon coming in, with Tarzan coming in, with Mikuya coming in as well, we needed to see something magical. Here we go. Light has been caught out exhausted here, but the rest of his team is here to block fourth shots. Is going to be blocked by the looks of things. Tarzan flashes just after taking the shot. Nicely done there as Rookie goes under the tower. Root going to come through onto Icon, but despite IG getting everything possible to go their way in that fight, they still can't finish a kill.
And nearly end up with a kill onto Shun as well. He went very low in that fight, but now IG do have the pressure, and this poke composition can really start to come online. You can see it there, LNG struggling underneath the tower, but no minions. They're able to back away, but still, this is the power of IG, where if they can find LNG in the right moment and they can get the composition to work, they can push LNG back and still threaten these objectives. It has to be on LNG to get that early control, so that's not a possibility of happening.
The problem is, for IG at least, the attempt hasn't worked, and now LNG gets to reset. They get back to full health bars. They get to move themselves back into a position where, once again, IG has no real way to contest them. If they're the first one on the Drake in 2.5 minutes, if they're able to set up vision control, it's incredibly difficult for anyone on IG's team to face check in. Like, let's say, I mean, who realistically you have to send Baolan, right? But Baolan's on Galio. Look at his items right now. The tankiest item he has is his boots and a Kindle gem. Like, he's not surviving if he face checks into this team, especially against a Pantheon and a Leona who will not let you escape. Like, unless Rookie finds a bubble, I'm struggling to think of another way that the team on IG can actually find a way on towards these objectives.
Well, they're not going to get a chance right now. LNG have done a really smart job here of, hey, you know what, 2 minutes until this dragon, let's preemptively get this vision control. Let's just dominate this river. Remember what we said, if you need someone on IG to, as you just pointed out, Munch, to face check this, it ain't going to work out for you. So now IG are on the back foot. The long range that they have is not going to reach towards a dragon, and they don't want to be walking through this entire jungle blind into Tarzan, into the likes of the damage from Icon, and even the pick potential coming through from Iwandi.
Dagda, I just had a look at the gold graph that came up on the left there, and Light is 2,500 gold ahead of anyone on IG. And then the second player is Icon on the list anyway. But just look at the CS. He's got more than 10 CS per minute. He's had 2 of the kills. He's had, I don't know, like 17 tower plates, I think, across this game. He is so monstrously fed. He's almost finished a Bloodthirster as his 3rd item. We're 21 minutes into the game. This guy has nearly finished 3 crit items. I know that we've already said it. I know that I'm kind of repeating myself now, but I just want to reiterate quite how monstrously huge this Tristana is. Light is at the position where if IG use some CC early on in the fight, he can literally 1v5.
Yeah. In the analytical terms, we have a term for when you get this fed. You're dummy thick. They're just real big.
I see.
Coming into this Tristana, like her pockets are just shaking with the amount of gold that is there for Light. And I don't know. I think right now, this is just very LCK style, honestly, from LNG, and I think that's a lot of it, obviously stemming from Tarzan, because they're getting this early vision control. They're setting up properly for objectives. This is they're not overextending where they don't need to. Like, this is feeling very much like an LCK game. And you can see here, like, okay, early vision control dropped in towards IG. Jungle, fantastic. Even when IG cleared that out, well, they still got another road to try and push forward to get into River. LNG get their early resets again, make sure that they're able to get there to contest it, and then you cannot enter into River as IG. Like, this is so beautiful to watch.
LNG might have been caught out here. Icon flashes over the wall though, and he's going to be fine. So Curtain Call can't quite find anything here for Wink. And we reset once more. I do want to take a moment here while it looks like IG are going to be resetting. I don't think much is going to happen over the next minute or so. I want to talk about the IG bot lane a little bit, because coming into this season, they have 6 potential players that they can bring out onto the field. We've got Puff, Snow, and Wink as AD carries. We have Baolan, Lucas, and Southwind is in the sub position, but he still exists on the roster. Like, there are 6 potential players that IG can bring out to the bottom lane. This has been the consistent duo so far in Wink and Baolan. I know Lyric was saying that he was expecting Lucas to be the support pick to go alongside with Snow. But it has been Wink and Baolan so far. I wondered what your thoughts are, Dagda, on these potential bot lane matchups, whether you think that Wink and Baolan will just be the mainstays, or if you think they'll be flipping between.
I think they will be flipping between. Unfortunately for Baolan, I haven't been overly impressed with them in the support role, even back in summer 2020, and certainly coming into spring 2021. I think Ning got scapegoated a little bit. I honestly think the bigger issue was this IG bot lane. And we saw it certainly in their last game, where it was, even in the victory against Top Esports, it was still looking pretty shaky on that bottom side, with Baolan missing some of these big Galio engages as Rookie. Jesus.
Rookie just nearly died from like 2 auto attacks. I think it was a Q from Icon as well. That is really scary. Rookie cannot even just go over to get a bubble or anything at this point. Wakuya is hanging off towards the wings, making sure that he's not getting collapsed upon. The sheer threat on the side of LNG here. Now they're going to move over, grab the blue buff. They are not going to allow anything to go the way of IG. And this is, especially when you're playing Graves in the jungle, or like in Nidalee, or any of these farming-centric junglers, when you lose control of the game this hard, you just want to ult F4. There's nothing you can do. You don't get to farm anymore. Yeah. You're literally just an AD carry that doesn't get minions. What's the point?
But do you remember this last year? Do you remember when you looked at the roster and you had an LNG game? You hated yourself, because you know you were going into a game where LNG were going to do absolutely nothing for 15 minutes, and then they'd eventually roll over at maybe the 25-minute mark and go like, ah, yeah, cool, look, have the win, we don't really care. Like, it just felt like there was nothing exciting about LNG. This, this gameplay is something that I can get behind. Like, this is, look, don't get me wrong, it's not exactly the most exciting
5
in
kills
terms
in
of
25 minutes. What are you saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the most exciting in terms of LPL, all right? But at least they're doing things. They're proactive. They're understanding what they're supposed to do. And they're shutting down Invictus Gaming. This is Invictus Gaming. This is the team that, for no goddamn good reason, comes third plus higher in the LPL. Like, the fact you're coming out with this against this team signifies absolute beauty for LNG. Like, I am genuinely hopeful now that we might see something more as Light. Wink, what did you think?
Look at the damage out from Light. This is what I was talking about. If he's in the right situation, he could 1v5, and he doesn't care how many opponents are here. He's even got teammates as a bonus on top of this one. Icon to finish the play onto Baolan. An easy 3 picks come out from the side of LNG. And if they needed a reason to go to Baron, that's it.
Yeah, so I think Makuya is going to get MVP this game. I think clearly he's just been really doing the work here.
Sure.
Oh, God, it's horrible. Okay, Hex Flash? No, I want he doesn't want to follow up, but... Oh,
I wouldn't
God,
surprise me if Light just jumps over, honestly. Light is in... like, I've played a lot of Tristana over the years. This is the best feeling in the world. Being fed on Tristana is so much fun. You just jump at them. And they buffed Tristana. This is ages ago, but they changed it so that if you get your max stacks on your bomb, you can jump out anyway. You don't even have to finish a kill.
Yeah. Like, that damage was just... I don't know what Wink expected. Like, why did you think at any point in time you could Gale Force aggressively at this Tristana? You just saw what he did to Rookie. Like, that entire thing did not need to happen. You just needed to walk away and be a good little boy and accept that you've been spanked by Light this entire game.
Yeah, I think maybe winking with both eyes as he walks in there, not realizing that enemies exist, or I don't know. I can't think of any good reason. Here we go, curtain call, but they're just gonna run at you, dude. You don't get to press that button right now. This Shy goes down, in goes the rest of the squad. There is no damage at all from IG. They're just brutalized, and now an Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like child's play. It really does just look so easy for LNG. And honestly, you just push mid here as LNG. You just go, you close out this game. You got Makuya in the bot side. Rookie's dead.
Yeah, Light flashing forwards to finish this one off. Easy pickings here. And he could just hop over the wall to try and chase Shun down as well. This is what I'm talking about. Tristana, when you're fed, 16. You're not an AD carry. He's not an AD carry 16. Champion.
Wink is level 12. He's level 16. Like, this is disgusting from LNG.
I feel like I'm living this game vicariously through Light. Just watching this Tristana have fun is giving me so much joy.
How badly do you want to go play League of Legends right now just to hit this?
I am going to play Tristana today. It's happening. Another kill goes their way. Karma goes down. The Shy is nowhere to be seen. And Shun is trying to escape up towards the top side, but there is no escaping from Light. He will chase you down. Shun, if you step any closer, you will die immediately. Light's going to be able to annihilate these towers very comfortably, and that's going to be game doctor. A 28-minute stomp in favor of LNG.
I mean, what do you say after that? What do I break down here? Light got uber fed with all these turret plates, LNG playing this map